What's going on? This is the Pete, and this summer I am going to be building a retaining wall in my backyard.
We are making the plan for our retaining wall now. By the time you see this video, the wall will have already been built for 2.5 years, maybe even 3 by the time you see this video or the final video is released. So I'll do a final walk around again on the last video of this series of the completed wall, and the wall will be 3 years old. And it's working great. This video, we're talking about making a plan. And I plan on not clicking the wrong buttons here. So this is how I make a plan. I don't know how you guys make a plan, but I measure out everything. So I took I'm doing my backyard project. I measured out the house with the long fiberglass tape, and then I recorded it on paper, and then I plotted it on a piece of paper here, and you could see every two of these squares is equal to 5 feet. I then drew I drew my house kind of on that, and then what I did in a marker, and then I made copies of it. So now that I have a blank slate to work with for my entire backyard. That's after, you saw me do the dirt moving. So I did the dirt moving, I resurveyed it, and I plotted it on this paper. And you can see how I wrote down. Let's zoom in here so you can see how I did this. I started at one side and I just went 5, 10, 15, 20, blah, blah, blah. You can do whatever what denominations of feet that work for you. So this is the final plan I decided on. Now, why do I make a final plan? I made a couple plans and I decided on this one. I decided this one works the best. I wanted to create a really great plan before I even get started, because you want to avoid doing double your work at all costs, because it just kills your time. I mean, just one of these projects will take me a year to do because I just have myself to do it. So doing things twice just really I just can't do it. It really kills your productivity. So I'm doing a patio here, an additional deck with a hot tub attached to it, and then there's like a slope here, a ramp down, and a kind of a walking path here. And these here are my retaining walls. I do have the retaining walls have a gap here for steps that I plan on doing in the future. And then I have a fire pit here. That's my plan so far. There is one thing I might change. I might be moving this fire pit to over here and leaving this area for like flat areas for playing a lot of fun games and stuff. Because with the fire pit in the center here, you're now separated with two small spots. I could put a volleyball court down here if I wanted to, and I think I might do that. We'll see. I could do volleyball, maybe even basketball. I could do something there. There's enough room. So I drew the plan, put it on paper, and now it's time to act on that plan. Let's go to the next sheet here. Here is the blue is the retaining wall, the green is the drain, and you can see these little brown thingies here, and that is my cross sections. You can see I used the exact same image because I made a bunch of copies of that. Every time I want to design something, I can just make a photocopy and draw it up. Works great. I highly recommend you do that. Now here's the plan. raised beds. Now I did do something slightly different here for this drainage. So this drain here stops here, goes here, and then goes down. And then this drain starts here and then goes down here, and then it goes down a level and then out this way like that. So that's how the drains work. You'll see that when I'm in the building phases. And then these are cross sections. What these cross sections are surveys that I did, or you just take a slice of it and then just you take a slice and then you just whoop, like that. I took a slice, and then now we're viewing the slice flat on a piece of paper. We'll go to the next one here, and this is cross section 1 like that, and cross section 2. I think cross section 2 I labeled everything a little better, so this is the one I'm going to kind of explain to you how the retaining wall works. It's a gravity wall. This is 1 foot right here. 4 blocks is 1 foot. This is fill. This is crushed stone. I used number 53s. This is basically 3/4 inch stone all the way to dust. And then I use these Denver retaining wall blocks. I bought them from Menards. They are hollow and they are to be filled with crushed stone. You have to fill them with crushed stone or it does not work properly. Okay, don't not fill them. Okay, if we go zoom out here a little bit, this line here is the existing ground. So this is before I measured this with my surveying. If you don't know how to survey, you could buy a survey instrument for pretty cheap, or you could just get one of those eye levels. The problem with those, I had a problem with the eye level. I have one of those too, and what you could do is set a little tripod down and then set the eye level on the tripod, and that'll keep it steady. I think that would work pretty good. I think that's a definite thing that you can do, but it's not over 100 feet, man. I mean, that thing is like, whoa, you're not gonna be on, you're gonna be accurate to the nearest inch on that, whereas my eye bubble machine is kind of accurate to like 1/4 inch. Check out my surveying video. If I don't link that in the description, please send me some hate in the chat. And then I can remember to link that surveying video in the description. So how are we going to do this? So here I have it, each one. 1, 2, this wall is going to be almost 3 foot tall where this cross section is. I think I ended up making it a little taller. I ended up going 1 block taller on everything because it's just cool like that. All right, we dig a hole 1 full foot deep minimum. So there's a lot of places I went deeper than 1 foot because that's the minimum depth. Now, my wall is on a slope and I want my walls flat. So you can see I have to dig deeper than 1 foot, but this is just in theory. You dig 1 foot deep, you compact this bottom 6 inches with I used a mechanical compactor. I would not tamp this. I would definitely use an actual compactor to compact the crap out of it, okay? And then we fill that with 6 inches of gravel. That's what the instructions say. Some engineer designed this, so we'll go with that. Now, the next wall I did was I left the gravel here, but I put geotextile like this, one right here, and then I put geotextile right here, like that, to help prevent the material from seeping into this gravel. So on one wall I did not do it, on the other wall I did. So I'm kind of curious to see if it makes a difference or not. I don't know. It's more work. So that's something to see. It's been 2 years right now, and by the time we see this video, it'll be 3 years. Right now, the wall hasn't moved. It hasn't budged, okay? It looks it looks just as good the day I build it. And this is a harsh winter, so we will see. All right. This here is after we put this dirt down, we compact the crap out of it. So I used a board because it's too small for a big compactor to go through there. So I used a 4x4 and I just tamped it until it would not tamp anymore. And this is clay. So I tamped that and then I put this tile in there. And I also tamped like a little divot for the tile to sit in. So this tile will sit in a nice little divot, and that's where the water will flow into that tile. You want it to slope right into that tile. This block here we fill with gravel, and then we set another block on top of that. The gravel is what locks it in. All right, we put the gravel in there, and then we set geogrid here. See how I have it labeled geogrid? That geogrid sets here, and it lays 4 feet. 1, 2, 3, 4 feet all the way to here. And then dirt goes on top, and I pack dirt all the way here, and I put my geotextile from here all the way up to match the dirt. And hopefully this geotextile's job is to filter out to let water through, but not to let the clay and dirt materials through. And eventually, because what would happen if you don't have the geotextile, which they don't say that you need it, but I think I've been doing things like this for part of my job where I work, and the geotextile just really prolongs the life of any kind of structure. So I think you definitely want to use it. But after 2 blocks, we put another geogrid. And then we put, this is dirt, gravel, gravel. And you keep stacking from there. And you don't want to go any more than 3 feet high. I think I went 3.5 feet. It says, it says you get a professional engineer if you want to go, higher than that. So use that information at your own will. And then I kind of go back here and do the same thing. The geogrid, the tile, all the way back up. And these are my raised garden beds. Let me know if you have any questions. I hope I explained that clear as mud, but it was definitely nice going in there with the plan and being able to just execute the plan step by step along the way. And I will show you how I built this step by step in the next videos.
So the first thing I did was I took a measurement off each corner of my house and I put a stake down. And these stakes, you can see here, there, there. You can run a string line across that, and that'll be the line, the back edge of the line, where they're going to be at. And then, on this side here, I have a stake here, and I have a stake all the way down there at the other end. That's going to be this diagonal portion, okay? Because that's not aligned with the house, so that's going to be a diagonal. And then from these stakes off the house, I measured off the house these straight sections. You just have to survey it on paper. Watch my previous surveying video, and then you can figure out how to do that. So after, and this is drainage tile that I got already set up, it goes into there. But anyways, so after I line up the string, I spray painted a line with marking paint, and now I'm going to be digging a whole trench through here, 1 foot deep. We're going to be stepping it off. We're not going to, the whole trench is going to be, each section of the trench is going to be horizontal. It's not going to be diagonal. I think that's just the better way to do it, because each block is going to step up, so you want each level to be flat. So I'm going to dig 1 foot depth all the way up and around so I don't have to mess around. It's kind of hard to explain, but it's ended up being very, very tricky, because every block goes in about a quarter of an inch, or a half inch, I mean. About a half inch in. So as this block goes up, as this wall goes up, they're each separate walls, but it's like 13 blocks high. So that means every block, it's another half inch. So 13 blocks, that's almost 7 inches, 6.5 inches or something. So then I wanted this to be a nice straight line. This will be like kind of like a stairwell right here to go down to what will eventually be a nice fire pit. That's a stack of bricks right now, but I wanted this to be a nice stairwell. But it's going to be hard to get that straight. I don't quite know exactly how I'm going to get it perfectly straight. I mean, it's pretty good, but you can see this wall here is in a couple inches from this edge because it's a couple blocks higher. So I'm not quite sure how to deal with that. So if somebody else knows how to deal with that, I'd like to know in the comments for next time I do a retaining wall. There probably won't be a next time. I'll tell you what, this is a massive project.
If this video helped you, please help me by liking and subscribing. Again, please place any questions down below.